Have you ever felt it? You walk into a room and without saying a word, the atmosphere subtly shifts. Some people seem to lean towards you while others stiffen or look away. Or perhaps you've noticed that your quiet authenticity, your very presence, can sometimes make others deeply uncomfortable, even agitated, for reasons you can't quite articulate. We often talk in vague terms about a person's vibe or their energy. But what if this palpable, unspoken presence, which some might call an aura, is a very real psychological phenomenon? What if it's the natural radiance of a soul that is becoming more whole, more aligned, more true to itself? Carl Jung's deep exploration of the human psyche suggests that as we do the courageous work of individuation, of integrating our shadows and living from our authentic center, our presence in the world gains a certain weight, a certain power. And this power, while not aggressive, can indeed be disturbing to those who are still at war with themselves or deeply invested in social masks. Today, we delve into this fascinating dynamic. We will explore 13 signs that your aura, your integrated psychological presence, may be so powerful that it unsettles the world around you, not as a flaw, but as a testament to your journey. This is an exploration for those who have dared to look within and now wonder about their quiet yet profound impact on the without. The first cluster of signs that your inner presence, your aura, is growing in power and coherence arises from how it acts as an unintentional mirror for the authenticity of others. A person who is deeply integrated and living from their true self becomes a walking testament to a different way of being, and this can be profoundly unsettling for those still operating from a place of masks and unexamined shadows. The first sign is that you elicit intensely polarized reactions. People rarely feel neutral about you. You'll notice that some are strongly, almost magnetically drawn to you, often seeing you as a source of inspiration or wisdom. They might tell you that you make them feel calm or that they feel they can be themselves around you. At the same time, you will encounter others who exhibit an immediate, visceral, and often inexplicable dislike. From a Jungian perspective, both reactions are two sides of the same coin: projection. Those who are inspired are often projecting their own golden shadow, their unlived potential, their own yearning for authenticity onto you. You reflect back to them what they aspire to be. Conversely, those who feel an instant animosity are often projecting their own repressed negative shadow. Your freedom might be perceived by them as irresponsibility, your self-possession as arrogance, your quiet joy as a personal affront. Your authentic presence forces a mirror up to their own inner division, and the discomfort of that reflection is what they project outwards as dislike. This often leads to the second sign. You become the target of unprovoked criticism and gossip. You may hear through the grapevine that people are misinterpreting your motives, picking apart your character, or creating stories about you. Jung understood that an individuated person, one who lives by their own inner truth rather than blindly conforming, is an inherent threat to the unconscious collective and the fragile personas of less integrated individuals. Gossip becomes an unconscious tool used to neutralize this threat, to cut you down to a more manageable size. By turning you into a simplified, flawed caricature, it relieves others of the uncomfortable psychic pressure to examine their own inauthenticity and lack of courage. This brings us to the third sign: others may subtly try to test or undermine you. This can manifest as passive-aggressive remarks, pointed questions designed to catch you off guard, or small provocations aimed at cracking your composure. Unconsciously, their psyche is asking, is this authentic strength for real? They are testing the integrity of your aura. By attempting to provoke an emotional, reactive response, they are trying to pull you down to the more familiar, conflict-driven level on which they operate. If they can make you react from your own shadow, it validates their worldview and relieves the psychological pressure your authenticity places on them. These three signs, while often painful to experience, are powerful indicators that your presence is shining a light bright enough to reveal the hidden landscapes of those around you. A person who has cultivated a significant degree of inner wholeness emanates a certain light, the light of authenticity, of self-possession. But it's a law of nature that any bright light will inevitably cast sharp shadows, not within you, but within the inner worlds of those around you who are still grappling with their own fragmentation. This next cluster of signs reveals how your integrated presence can unconsciously trigger the unintegrated parts of others. The fourth sign is that your presence often makes insecure people either intensely defensive or excessively eager to please. Notice how some individuals in your company seem to be on edge. They might argue over trivial points, preemptively justify their choices, or become prickly and defensive without any apparent provocation. Others might exhibit the opposite reaction, fawning, agreeing with everything you say, and desperately seeking your approval. Both are reactions born from an encounter with what Jung called an inferiority complex. Your quiet confidence acts as a stark contrast to their inner lack of it. The defensive person's fragile ego feels exposed and threatened, so it lashes out to protect itself. The approval-seeking person, feeling the stability of your integrated self, unconsciously regresses into a childlike role, projecting onto you the authority or parental figure whose validation they crave to feel secure. Your aura doesn't attack them, it simply reveals the instability of their own psychic foundation. This leads to the fifth sign. You become a screen for other people's projections of their unlived lives and deep-seated insecurities. People will stop seeing you and start seeing what you represent to them. They might project the hero archetype onto you, saying things like, "You've got it all figured out. You're so lucky," failing to see your own struggles and humanity. They might cast you in the role of a perfect parent they never had, unconsciously seeking your guidance or care. Or they might project their own repressed ambition onto you, feeling envy for a success that is more about their inner story than your outer reality. Your authentic life becomes a powerful blank canvas onto which they paint the movie of their unfulfilled potential, a dynamic that can feel both flattering and profoundly isolating. Finally, the sixth sign is that your calm self-possession is frequently misinterpreted as arrogance, coldness, or aloofness. Because you are not easily pulled into gossip, emotional drama, or reactive outrage, those whose inner lives are in constant turmoil may not understand your state. From their perspective, emotional reactivity is the primary way of connecting and showing one cares. Your stoic-like tranquility, your ataraxia, can therefore be perceived not as a sign of inner peace, but as a judgment, a sign that you feel you are above it all. They aren't seeing your inner work, they are feeling the uncomfortable contrast with their own inner chaos. Again, their reaction is not a true reflection of you, but a confession of their own internal state, revealed in the bright, quiet light of your presence. Beyond simply disturbing the fragile egos of others, a powerful and integrated aura also has a profound effect on the energetic and emotional space around you. It acts as both a magnet for authenticity and a gentle repellent to the superficial. This cluster of signs reveals how your very presence can invite a deeper kind of connection. The seventh sign is that people, even strangers, feel compelled to confide in you. You might be sitting on a park bench or in a waiting room, and the person next to you begins to share their life story, their deepest fears, their most vulnerable secrets, often ending with, "I don't know why I'm telling you all this." From a Jungian viewpoint, this happens because your integrated self, your quiet authenticity, creates a non-judgmental psychic space. Their unconscious senses a safe harbor in your presence. They feel, on a level beyond words, that their own fragmented, wounded, or shadow parts will not be judged or rejected by you, allowing them to come forward for air. Without trying, you become a safe container for the truths of others. Conversely, the eighth sign is that intensely superficial or inauthentic people tend to avoid you. Those who are deeply invested in their persona, who thrive on gossip, status games, and social climbing, may find your company awkward or unsettling. Conversations can feel stilted, or they may quickly find a reason to move away. This is because your authentic presence acts like a bright light that threatens to make their carefully constructed mask transparent. Their depth highlights their lack of it, and the stillness of your aura can feel like a silent judgment on their frantic superficiality. Their ego, identified with its mask, instinctively recoils from the potential of being truly seen. The ninth sign is a beautiful and often humbling one. Children and animals are frequently calm and drawn to you. Jung, like many wisdom traditions, recognized that children and animals are less encumbered by the complex layers of the ego and the persona. They operate on a more primal, instinctual, and energetic level. They don't respond to your job title or social status. They respond to your inner state. A coherent, integrated, and peaceful psyche is perceived by them as non-threatening and safe. Their natural affinity for you is a pure reflection of the calm and balance you have cultivated within. Finally, the 10th sign is that your quiet presence can noticeably shift the emotional atmosphere of a room. You might walk into a tense meeting and without saying or doing anything, you notice the agitation begins to settle. Or you enter a gathering filled with forced politeness and pleasantries, and your quiet authenticity somehow brings the unspoken underlying truths to the surface. An integrated person acts like a psychic tuning fork. Your inner coherence and peace emanate a stable frequency that can help regulate a chaotic emotional environment. You become a calming influence not by doing anything, but simply by being your centered, authentic self, a silent invitation for others to find their own center as well. Finally, we arrive at a set of signs that reveal how a powerful, individuated presence challenges not just the psyches of individuals, but the very fabric of conventional reality and social norms. These signs often feel more subtle, more systemic, yet they are profound indicators of your inner alignment. The 11th sign is that people will attempt to copy your outer life while completely missing the inner substance. You might notice colleagues or friends adopting your style of dress, your manner of speaking, your hobbies, or trying to replicate the results of your work. Yet, it often feels hollow, like an echo without the original sound. From a Jungian perspective, this is because they are attracted to the symptoms of your wholeness, the confidence, the peace, the creative output, but are unconscious of or unwilling to do the difficult inner work that produced them. They are attempting to adopt the persona of an integrated individual, hoping to gain the same results without undertaking the courageous journey into their own shadows and depths. It's an attempt to harvest the fruit without ever tending to the tree's hidden roots. This leads to the 12th sign, a feeling that may be deeply familiar. You often feel like an outsider, even in groups where you are liked and respected. There's a subtle but persistent sense of separateness. You find you can't quite engage in the common social games, the group complaints, or the unthinking consensus with the same unconscious ease as others. This feeling, while sometimes lonely, is a direct and powerful confirmation of individuation. As you become more truly yourself, you naturally differentiate from the collective psyche and its standard scripts. You are no longer unconsciously bound by the same fears, desires, and assumptions that hold the group together. Your path is now uniquely your own, which, by definition, lies outside the well-trodden highway of the collective. You are not above them, but simply, authentically a part in your journey. Lastly, the 13th sign is that your path forward is often cleared by a current of synchronicity that can baffle and disturb others. Meaningful coincidences, fortunate encounters, and unexpected opportunities seem to appear just when you need them, propelling you forward in ways that defy simple logic. To an outside observer, this can look like uncanny luck or an unfair advantage, sometimes fueling the very envy we've already discussed. Jung would see this as a sign of profound alignment with the self. As you become more whole and more attuned to your true purpose, the inner and outer worlds begin to rhyme more frequently. Your path isn't being cleared by random chance, but by your deep harmony with the underlying intelligent patterns of your own life's unfolding. This flow is perhaps the most powerful and to some the most disturbing sign of all, as it operates according to a logic that transcends the ego's limited understanding and control. We have journeyed through 13 powerful, often subtle signs that may indicate your inner world, your aura, is radiating a presence strong enough to disturb and affect those around you. From eliciting polarized reactions and enduring unprovoked criticism, to becoming a screen for others' projections and finding your path cleared by synchronicity, these are not signs to be collected as badges of honor. They are, as Jung's psychology reveals, simply the natural consequences that arise when an increasingly integrated, authentic individual moves through a world of unexamined shadows and collective norms. Recognizing these signs is not an endpoint. It is not a certificate of spiritual arrival.
In fact, it presents a new, profound challenge, one that calls for the grounding wisdom of Stoicism. The greatest danger in developing a powerful inner presence is not the disturbance it causes in others, but the potential for it to inflate one's own ego, to foster a sense of superiority or spiritual arrogance. And so, we must ask, how does one wield this light responsibly? The Stoics would guide us, first and foremost, towards compassion. Through the lens of sympathia, our shared humanity, we can see that the person who is disturbed by our presence is not our enemy. They are wrestling with their own inner fragmentation, their own unintegrated shadow. Their reaction is a reflection of their own pain, and this calls for our understanding, not our contempt. We are reminded to practice humility, knowing that the path of individuation is endless and our own shadows are never fully vanquished. And we must lean heavily on the dichotomy of control. We cannot control how others perceive our light, whether they see it as inspiring or as an arrogant glare. We can only control our intention and our response, to continue our inner work with integrity and to act with virtue in the world. The ultimate sign of a powerful, coherent soul is not measured by the ripples of disturbance it creates, but by the wisdom, the compassion, and the quiet strength with which it navigates those ripples. It is about learning to be a lighthouse, steadfast, clear, and unwavering, offering light to those who seek it while possessing the resilience to withstand the storms that may rage against it, all without losing its own profound inner peace. May you wield your unique light with grace.